Okay, today's question from the Mojo Tribe is, what are some of the tools or techniques that we can use to accept ourselves for who we are, or poor judgments we have made and negative things that have happened to us in the past? Okay, well, the first step is to go back to these crucible moments in our primary school years or our teenage years or 20s or 30s or 40s when we accidentally or inadvertently, subconsciously attached our self-worth to that negative experience. Telling ourselves that I'm not good enough or loved enough or smart enough. The goal is to go back and separate our self-worth from that experience. So rather than saying, I am bad, we simply say, this is bad. Because it's not the experiences of our lives that determine our life. It's the meaning we put behind the experiences, or the narrative behind the experiences, the stories we tell ourselves about the experiences. Two people can have the exact same experience, but two very different stories. Person one, where you say, you see, this always happens to me, I'm a victim, I'm a loser, this is my lot in life. Person two will say, whoa, that was heavy, but I'm not going to let that determine my life. I'm going to dedicate this moment and go that way. Person one's focused on post-traumatic stress. Person two is focused on post-traumatic growth. So separating our self-worth, the person from the persona, is the first step. The second step is also to cut yourself some slack and recognize that we're all imperfect and we're all going to make mistakes and we're all going to fall down. But we're also all unconditionally worthy. So bringing some self-compassion and forgive ourselves as well is really, really important. And part of that process is to separate and understand the difference between guilt and shame. Guilt is, I did something wrong. That's okay, you can work on that. You can forgive yourself and get better at that. But shame is, I am wrong. Far more fundamental. So it's really important to acknowledge those different emotions that we might be feeling and bring some self-compassion into our journey. So in terms of poor judgments, it's really important to dial up that self-compassion and forgive ourselves. And acknowledge that we're imperfect, but we're worthy of love and belonging and connection and going on a journey. And if poor judgments continue, then possibly there's a disconnect between what you truly value, your values, and how you're showing up in the world. And values are verbs which represent who we are at our best. And if there's ever anything going wrong in your life within your control, and there's a lot out of your control, especially with pandemics, but if there's any things going wrong within your control in terms of your decision making and your judgments, more often than not there's a disconnect between what you truly value and how you're showing up in the world. So I'd highly encourage you to go on that exercise to connect with your values, how you define them, and the behaviours that sit off those values that you can practice holding yourself accountable from a decision making and judgment perspective.